What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the It's Just Work podcast, hosted by yours truly, Chuck Clemens, my brother here, Stephen Hurley. Steve, what's up?
It's going well. Excited for our guest today, someone we know near dear to our hearts. So yeah,
Yeah,
let's get
yeah.
it going.
Well, back with another episode, another guest. It's a very special episode, like Steve kind of just mentioned. We have our RPI coach, our former RPI coach, Maguire Sweeney, here with us. Coach, what's going on?
How we doing, fellas? Always a pleasure. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's another special episode, obviously very, very, very close to home. Coach, something I like to do when we have a guest on, just kind of give a little bit brief background of kind of how we first getting started off. It was a funny story. You probably don't even know this, but Coach Sweeney got the job going into our senior year. So that was what, summer of
23.
2023, right? So going into our senior year, we just came off of 19 season, made it to the conference championship, lost that, and we're getting ready to kind of get back to swinging things. And you called me. It was like late at night one time. I was in the gym, got a random phone number from this like Jersey number. I'm like, who is calling me at like 9:30 p.m. at night right now? Usually I don't pick those calls up. I picked it up, and then it was you. Obviously, you called me, and you kind of just broke it down, saying like you're excited to get to work and stuff like that. Fast forward, you kind of get to the year, and you kind of just one of the, like Coach Gilbert said, one of the best coaches in the league, assistant coach in the league, one of the best assistant coaches in the country, and we're just super happy to have you on here. Pick your brain a little bit about college basketball in general. Talk about RPI, you as going out on the recruiting trips like that. So I mean, honestly, we're just gonna chop it up and stuff like that. So we're happy to have you on, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's always fun talking to you guys. Me and Steve text back and forth. You and I text back and forth. So it's nice to actually sit down and talk for a long
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Let's start off though. Let's start like high school days. Obviously, you're a basketball player. You played college ranks. Obviously, moved on to the coaching aspects of it. But how did you even get into basketball? Did someone like push it towards you? Let's talk about your high school career, college career, and then we'll get it going from there.
Yeah. So I'm fortunate. I'm the youngest in my family, so I have an older brother. And then my pops, like those, they kind of like you kind of just want to be like your older brother when you're your younger brother. And they took a liking to basketball. My dad always had it on TV. Um, and we were big kids, so it's like kind of like when you're a tall kid, everyone's like, "Go play basketball." So early on, kind of just gravitated toward it. And with anything, when you're a kid, when you're good at something, you kind of stick with it. So I was like better than most of my friends, and I liked it. So it was fun. And I just got to stick with it. And just growing up in New Jersey, it's such a big part, especially in northern New Jersey where I'm from. It's like you're so close to New York City. There's so many good players that come out of the area. Like being part of basketball there, it's like part of Jersey. Whenever people talk about Jersey, like LeBron said it one time, it was like Austin Reeves had to be from Jersey or something. The way he handles it, like
Yeah, yeah.
being from Jersey, basketball is a huge thing. So just from there, started playing AAU really young. Played with a lot of guys. Like if you look back in the past, like played with Javon Quinterly growing up, Nate Pierre Louis, Nas Reed. We were all in the same program. It's just funny when you go back and think about all the guys when you're 10 years old, you're playing with these guys. At AAU, we're traveling to Kentucky, we're going to Florida, all this stuff. And then just from on there, like I just fell in love with it. Just the nature of the game, how each game was different. Like each opponent was different, each day was different. Some days you have good shooting days, some days you have good passing days, good defensive days, stuff like that. And then some days you'd have off days, but it's basketball, so the next play, all that stuff would happen. And then we get to high school. I went to Union Catholic in Scotch Springs, New Jersey, which was a great decision for me. Me and my brother, so he ended up going to public school when I was our public school in Summit until he was a junior, and I was in eighth grade. And then he ended up leaving, going to South Kent in Connecticut. So you're
I
familiar
don't
with
even know
that.
that.
Yeah, so he was there for 2 years, and I was thinking about going with him, but I just didn't really want to go to boarding school for high school. I wanted to stay home, so went to Union Catholic. It was great. Got to play with a bunch of really good players there, and there, our league was, I think, arguably at the time one of the hardest leagues in the country because we had Roselle Catholic when Isaiah Briscoe was there, and they were starting all that. St. Pat's when they had like they went to City of Palms and they played like Lonzo Ball. I played that team. Like Linden was a great public school. Plainfield always has great players. Elizabeth always has great players. Um, so throughout high school, got to play against some of the best competition in the state too, which is fun. I mean, I'm not going to say I was the best player on the floor because I definitely wasn't, but just being out there and holding my own with those guys, competing with those guys, it just is what I wanted from basketball. Like, you want to play against the best, you want to compete against the best, you want to just step on the floor with those guys and see what you can do. And I think from there, like growing up, because when I was a sophomore on our varsity team, we had a kid going to Rob Morris to be able to play with him, learn from him, all those guys. And by the time I was a senior, my graduating class was myself, Jordan Pierce, who ended up going to Dayton out of high school, and then Kyle Lofton, who went to Putnam Science, then St. Bonaventure, then Florida.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that was
that name sounds familiar.
that was our senior class.
Okay.
In a year where everyone else's senior class in the area were also unreal. Like Roseville Catholic had like 4 D1 guys. St. Pat's won the tournament champions that year. So every game that year was just, you'd show up and play against the best in the state, which was a lot of fun. And it's funny because like New Jersey's so small, all the people knew each other too. So it's like everyone like played AAU together, and then they go to different high schools and play against each other. So just that aspect, it just breeded competitiveness, and I think that was a big thing. Like I know a lot of people from Jersey talk about Jersey. I'm one of those guys that will go to bat for Jersey any day of the week, but I think just the culture that we push each other and like the nature of how we play and how we get to know each other, it just leads to success in anything, whether it's basketball, life, coaching for me. And I think from there, it was awesome. I stayed in Jersey. So when I graduated Union Catholic 2017, I committed to play at Stevens in Hoboken, New Jersey. So I was there as a freshman, and Coach Hurley, who's the head coach there now, he's been the head coach there, or been there for 17 years, I think the head coach for 13. He just was always at the games of my high school. So it felt like home. Like it's kind of one of the things that I took as a player that I felt that I try to make kids I recruit now feel. That like I'm going there to play basketball because I like the coach. Like I want to play for that guy, not because I'm like the school, the academics, the location, the team is great, but also at the end of the day, you want to play for the guy that's going to coach you. So I ended up going there. We had my time there, pretty good career. I want to say we had 70 plus wins over my 5 years there. Because my senior year was COVID, so we had the season canceled. Like you guys had the freshman year, right, Chuck?
Yeah, that was freshman year. Yep.
And then my 5th year came back and made the NCAA tournament that year. Won a game, so round of 32. So went to the NCAA tournament twice in college, which was great. And just it's all you can ask for a college career, to be able to say you got to do things. Like everyone knows the NCAA tournament, so it's cool. So that's just a quick overview. I know there's more in-depth things we could talk about, specific questions about all that stuff, but a quick run through of how I've graduated college to now past life after college.
Yeah. Can you just highlight a little bit what that tournament experience was like? Obviously, you see the Division I tournament. Obviously, they're going different places all over the country. People don't know too much about, the Division III tournament. Obviously, you have like it's different like pods and stuff like that. It's a little bit different. So, what was that experience like for you, and how was that for you in general?
Yeah. So my junior year, we went to the tournament, and we got a host. So we got to be one of those pods. So that was a unique experience. Like we had, I remember Christopher Newport was in our pod, Colby, and Nichols.
Okay.
And it didn't really feel any different because it was just a home game for us. Like I remember before the game, like we had a pregame meal and I was hanging out with the boys at wherever we lived in the house, like watching some of the NCAA tournament games before all that stuff. Because that time was like when COVID started to creep in. So I remember Yeshiva was playing at Johns Hopkins and no fans were there. So we were at one of the boys' apartments and we were watching that game before we had to go over to the facility to get ready for our game. So it was like kind of the talking point and murmurs of all that stuff. And then we went to game time of the Nichols game as a host, and we lost at the buzzer. So I had heartbreak my first time. We lost at the buzzer as the host in the NCAA tournament.
That was the first round, you said?
First round. We lost in the first round of the buzzer. This kid, I'm going to forget his name. It might have been something Burton. I forget his first name. But he hit a step back on the left side and just hit it. And it was just like, Like you
Yeah,
tip your hat to a kid that makes a shot like that.
right.
And then, so we had a great year. We finished that year 23-5, losing in the first round. Not exactly what we wanted. We had a good group coming back though, but then COVID hit, so it changed everything. Kind of put the pause on everything. We didn't have a season. We practiced a little bit during COVID, which I understand was more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, and then we came back for grad year. It was like I was thinking about getting my master's degree anyway. Stevens had a great thing where we were able to do like a 4+1. So I had some classes that double counted. So I got my MBA and done in a year, which was sensational. And then I got to come back and play. And we were a school that got a benefit from the grad transfers because Stevens does a pretty good job of getting grad transfers. So we added 2 that year. We had a grad transfer from Wesleyan, David Dixon, big guy, and then Matt LaCourte was a transfer from Susquehanna. And they kind of filled in spots that we needed some people in because we graduated some guys in that area. And that year, I remember it was a rocky start to the year. We were like 8-8 in like January, and then we roll off 9 in a row. We enter the conference tournament as the 2 seed, and it says it was COVID. All the teams made the conference tournament that year.
Okay.
So there was 8 teams in our league. So like you had to win 3 games to win the conference tournament. It wasn't just like the 2-time like semifinal and final weekend. It was a full week of games. And we won the whole thing. We ended up hosting the championship because the 1 seed got upset. We won that game by 3, which was awesome. And then the next day was like selection Monday. And we know we got in. We only got in because we won a conference tournament. We weren't in that large that year, but we did what we had to do to get in. And then so they're doing the selection show. And with D3, it's like the first 2 rounds it's a radius of 500 miles by bus. That's where the NCAA can send you. If it's over 500 miles, they got to fly you. So the NCAA, like that's their radius. So that's why some of the pods sometimes are like there's a west pod, there's a south pod. There's so many schools, so it's like doesn't really matter. So we get the name announced. We're heading to Mount Union, all the way in Ohio. The funniest part about it, Mount Union from Stevens was like 468 miles. We got sent to the furthest possible place we could go.
Yeah. Do no
crazy.
favors.
So we're driving all the way out there to Alliance, Ohio. Get out there. Hotel's not great because it's Ohio. But it was great. We got to shoot around. It was a great it's kind of what you think what the D1 would be, but not as we're not flying everywhere. We're not eating at great restaurants all the time. Like our pregame, we got there on the Thursday. We played on the Friday. We had a nice dinner, but it was like at a mom and pop place, which I actually preferred much more of the time because it felt like those people really appreciated us. And then Friday we're playing the hosts in a pod where it's Mount Union versus us, and then it was Williams versus Newman. I think down in the Philly area or outside of Philly area. So Williams played Newman first. Williams won that game. And then we get Mount Union. And Mount Union at the time, I think, was ranked 10th in the country. And we just start that game. Like, we think they took us lightly. So we started that game 10-0. Like, we jumped on them real early. And then they fought back. We were down at half. And one of the grad transfers I mentioned, Matt LaCourte, went off. He hit 9 threes, had 32 points. We ended up winning that game by 10 on the road. And the best part about it is, like, I was always guys that like playing on the road because when we won that game, the silence in that place was deafening. Like, they were expecting they were going to go on a run that year and all that stuff. And we knocked them out in the first round. And it was awesome. It was awesome. And then, like, the celebration in the locker room, it's like all the same thing you see, like, when teams wins, like we dump the water bottles on everyone. We have a great time. But the one thing that's not like D1, we don't have a day off in between. We play the next day. So we're getting prepared to play Williams on 14 hours notice, right? Like, we don't have a full day to practice, full day to prepare. Like, the coaching staff has a scouting report done. We're going to watch film, do a walkthrough, and then go play.
Right into it, yeah.
So we had that game. We were down at half by a decent amount. We weren't playing very well, down by 13 or 12. And we actually started the second half rolling. We actually took a 1-point lead with like 7 minutes to go in the second half, and just worked out. They made a few more plays down the end of the stretch, and ended up losing that game by 8, I want to say. But it was awesome. Like I know D1 and the experience of the arenas and the crowds are great, but I think just it feels the same, at least from my standpoint. Like winning that game against Mount Union, being in that moment against Williams, 8 minutes left, where we have a 1-point lead, chance to go to the Sweet 16. Like you feel it. It's just not nationally televised. It's live streamed on YouTube, but it's the same. And I can tell you, the guys on Williams, the guys on Mount Union, whoever else won it that year, I can't remember, felt the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know, Chuck, you guys had that run, I think the same year, 21-22.
Yeah.
You guys felt that run when you guys beat Wesleyan, right? Like you guys had the excitement. The fans at Wesleyan were treating it like it was a real game. So I think people who say like D3 is so much different than D1, it is, but it's not in the ways you think. It's like you're just not doing things at as big of a scale, but the emotions there, the people that care that's there, the work that's there, and people want to win. And like Wesleyan felt crushed not beating you guys. I know Mountain Union felt crushed by us beating them, and it's just that moment that you guys had in 21-22, the moment I had my grad year, is going to live with me forever.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It's the same as when probably UMBC beat Virginia. Those guys are going to be talking about it forever.
Right.
It's the same memories. It's just at a different level of scale. And I just think more people need to go to D3 basketball games to understand that part of it.
I agree. I probably had the same mindset growing up, like, D3, it's whatever. But actually being into it, seeing how coaches prepare, how us prepared as RPI, just in general, I think it's the exact same thing. They got, like you said, national scale, bigger, stronger, better players, but the motion's still there. So that's a good way to put it. Let's move on to, obviously you're done playing. You did your thing in college. You transitioned right into coaching. What were some maybe your influences that made you get into that? Obviously, your brother is also did the coaching route as well. What were some of the decision factors that got you right into the coaching scene?
Yeah, it's kind of like seem a common theme with most of the things I'm saying. COVID changed it. Because before COVID, I had an internship in New York City, like down in the financial district, like the 30th, fourth floor. The views were amazing. I was making pretty good money as an intern. I hated it, but it was like what my degree was. Like I was getting a business degree, get in the business world, try to stay tied to sports in some way. That was my goal. Like, hey, let's be a sports agent, maybe sports marketing, maybe work for like Nike or Gatorade that gets to work with athletes. Like I wanted to tie the two together. Then COVID hit, and internships just weren't a thing my junior to senior year summer. It just like everyone canceled it because it happened in March, so no one had enough time to pivot to stuff.
Right.
But I know you guys know it. Hoop Group was still running camps during that time. So Brian Petrozelli, a guy I've known since I was 10, he helped out with New Jersey Rug Run as the AAU team I played for. He works for the Hoop Group, and I just reached out to him and like, hey, do you guys need any help? Because I didn't want to sit at home and do nothing. So I got to go out to the camps. I did some like just work to help them like set up the camps, break down, coach a little bit. But I also college coaches work those camps, so I got to just talk to all those guys. Got to get to know them, pick their brain, and kind of just see how their life is. And I knew at the time like we were probably going to get an extra year back, so I was going to have another year to think about what I was going to do. But after that summer, I kind of just fell in love with like teaching basketball, like the relationships of like I was coaching like young high school kids, like they were freshmen, sophomores. I wasn't dealing with the older guys, but I got to like work on my game, a little bit of coaching while trying to help them get better. And then I like the relationships that you got to develop that way is what I really like enjoyed. Like when I was Chuck, like I'm trying to teach you to get something, you get it. You feel really happy, and I feel really happy for you because we did it together. And then from there, the following summer, I did the Hoop Group stuff again. Like I worked that stuff, and I also coached AAU that summer because I just wanted to keep doing it. And then ultimately having my brother be in the world, understanding kind of what his route was a little different. Like he was a D1 manager, then D1 GA, and then he's now in the NAIA world. But it was like I could pick his brain on like the transition. And then I just kind of was like, this is what I want to do. So I'm just going to do it. So I took a leap. I went to work at Rutgers Newark. We played them every year when I was at Stevens. So I just emailed Coach Lochran, hey, I'm interested in getting I know you got a GA. I know you got some part-time assistants. I'm interested in getting in the business. What do we say? He interviewed me one time. He was like, yeah, like you got your master's, great. So I'd love to have you on as part-time. I can't pay you much, but you were going to be involved in everything. I'm like, perfect. Whatever you can pay me is great. And when I tell you whatever you could pay me was great, is whatever you could pay me.
Right.
Because if I told you the number, you'd be like, no way you did that. I'm like, yes, I did it. But I got to live at home. It saved some money, but also that experience was unparalleled. Like Coach Lochran, like gave me a lot of scouts, gave me a lot of responsibility recruiting, gave me he was the first coach to be like, yeah, I trust you, do it. And I got to learn from mistakes and got to do all that stuff. And then from there, it's just like, I think the biggest thing that's the barrier for a lot of people getting into coaching is like the financial, the monetary part. Because we're all living our lives. We want to be able to live your life. So being able to get that first full-time or like bump in pay, whatever job it is huge. So I ended up getting up here in some funny world of people know people that got me here in the world of basketball. And I've loved it. Coach Gilbride's the man. You coaching guys like yourself, we've been good. Knock on wood, obviously, but we've been good. It's fun. And it's just the transition for me was a little easier from like player to coach because I had the mindset going into like my grad year, like this is something I might want to do. So I was able to flip the switch of like once I stepped over to the sideline, I was like, all right, I'm player mode's out of it. Like, my playing days are over. I play Newton hoops and that's it. And I'm not really worried about me anymore in terms of like, hey, I got to do this to get better at this. I was more of like, hey, what can I do to help these guys get better at what they want to do, and let's win games. Because at the end of the day, everyone involved in college basketball is a competitor. So just that aspect of it has been the best part of it because that's the biggest thing I think a lot of people lose once they stop playing, whatever it's high school sports, college sports, or just in general. Whenever they stop playing, they don't have that competitive outlet anymore. And that's the one thing I think my job allows me to have. I'm allowed to have a direct competitive outlet all the time. And I think for me, that's great because I get to just get those adrenaline flowing. Like the game last night, we were talking before the Bob won in overtime. So the adrenaline, you don't get that unless you're in it. And it's something that's awesome. And then the outside part of it, a big reason why I'm into this and why I love this is like relationships. Like Chuck, I coached you for 2 years, and one of the years you were hurt, and you called me, you asked me to be on the podcast. I'm like, 100% I'll be there. And I'm hoping as I continue to do this, I have multiple guys where I continue to talk to, and if they have a podcast, I'll jump on their podcast and stuff like that. So it's been amazing from that aspect. And then in terms of the X's and O's of basketball stuff, like that takes learning. Every head coach as an assistant coach, you got to kind of adapt to them. You have your own ideas, but you also got to learn what they like and try to teach it that way as well. So that part of it, I think, has been pretty good. Like Coach Gilbride's very direct with me, and he's very open with me of what we want to work on, and gives me the leeway to like put in ideas, and we go with them. And it's like feels like a real staff. And kind of like we were talking about the D3 staff compared to D1 staff is so much. D3 staff for 2 years at RPI was me, Coach Gilbride, and Steve. D1 says 12 people.
Three-man wave.
I was just talking about that today with somebody. They were like, Chuck, how many coaches do these Division I teams have? I'm like, they have like 10 to 12. I don't really know what all of them do, but it's a little bit different when you have like three minds, picking through stuff and stuff like that. So that's a good point that you make.
And yeah, like just the three of us, I think it makes you, I don't know, it just makes you feel more in it.
Yeah.
Like you like when there's only three of you, you guys are the brain trust to hopefully help us win. Right. And hopefully try to put it in the right scheme. Because I remember Steve and I one day were talking about like what team was it? Or for Steve's, for my first year and your first year, Steve, it was Sweeney Poly, like third game of the year. We were trying to figure him out. And we were just watching film, trying to figure it out together.
Yeah.
And it was just like a random text exchange. He was telling me what he thought. I'd tell him what I thought. And we'd roll with it and try to figure it out. We don't have the advanced analytics. We don't have like all that stuff. So it's kind of just a group of guys working together, trying to figure it out what works best for you. And I think that's the best part of it I love too. Being a D3 guy, you got to do a little bit of everything, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because if I was only doing one aspect of the job, I don't know if I'd have as much fun.
That's true.
That's a great point. Before Steve asks his next question, you mentioned noon hoops. For people that don't know what noon hoops are, that's when like the coaches at RPI, they would get Tuesday, Thursdays, noons, and they would just come and play some fives. Me and Steve got lucky, or Steve was kind of playing the whole year, but I got lucky enough to kind of get some run in at the end of the year once the season was over, and it was intense. It was intense games. Coach Sweeney was out there going hard, knocking down threes. Steve was getting.
I had some good shooting days. I won't lie.
Steve was doing his thing too, but man, moon hoops, those were fun. Those were good times, man.
I remember like when you didn't play in it yet. Steve was playing it, and he knew. You were like, it's gonna be easy, and then you jump in, and no matter like, I'm telling everyone, the range of noon hoop people was Chuck 23, 24, and we had like 60-year-old men out there. No. Everyone could get it. Like.
It was always pretty competitive.
It was fun.
You gotta go past him. He's not gonna make it easy.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, I remember.
You never thought it was gonna be easy.
Yeah, I tried not doing that one time, and someone was like chewing me out, like, Chuck, just go by. Like, I don't care if you're 6 years old, just go by. Come on, trying to win. But those are good times.
Yeah, great. It's awesome. I love it. Tuesdays and Thursdays make the week go by quick sometimes. Just getting to play basketball in the middle of the day.
I think going back here on kind of the D3 aspect of what your day-to-day and week looks like as a coach, because all of us kind of think of, okay, Friday and Saturday, that's where the coaches shine. But to get to Friday and Saturday, get those wins, it's what you do Monday through Thursday. So maybe talk us through maybe what your day-to-day or week looks like as a D3 assistant.
Yeah, so it changes based on the time of year. So like during the season, it's very season focused. Like getting the scouts done, preparing for practice, all that stuff during the day, doing some recruiting. Like also you have your group of guys that you're recruiting, trying to get out to their games. But also it's like there's the part of it that people don't really know is like we got to book buses, hotels, food, make sure laundry set, make sure we're getting everywhere on the right time, make sure all that stuff's happening. Because we don't have an ops team. Like I said, like it's a brain trust of 3 people. We're the coaching staff, we're the operations team, we're the laundry crew sometimes on the road. Like we have a great equipment staff when we're home, but sometimes we got to do it on the road if we have to. It's a grind sometimes. Got a to-do list every day. I know Coach Gilbride has some extra stuff that I don't even have to deal with. He takes some stuff on that's like on his level that he has to deal with every day. But I know every day I get in the office, we pray Friday and Saturday. So just doing some early work on Friday's team just to see what they do, and Saturday's team to see what they do. Because early on in the week, you have time to focus on both if you can. But then as it gets to Wednesday, Thursday, you lock in on Friday's team. And then just the other day-to-day of being in the athletic department. Like we have meetings. Like any other job, we have meetings. We have staff meetings. We have department meetings. We have HR meetings. We have compliance meetings. So just scheduling all that stuff around, sometimes it just doesn't feel like there's enough hours in the day. Especially this year, we're practicing rather early. Like Chuck, we're practicing at 3:00 sometimes this year.
I think I heard it.
Some class schedules are permitting it. So 3:00 sneaks up on you quick when you're trying to get through all this stuff. And like out of season, in the fall, just a lot of recruiting, getting ready for the season, gear orders, making sure everyone's all set with training room, compliance stuff, and making sure you guys are all set just in general, getting ready for the season. Because I know D3, you come to campus, you're not practicing right away. Like we have the 8 practices now, which are great, which are fantastic, but it's not like D1 where you have summer workouts, you go home for a month, and you come back and we're back into it. October 15th is like the legit start date, so you have a month and a week of college where you're you're kind of like seniors, captains are running pickup, and we're just trying to get to know all the freshmen as much as we can because we recruited them, we like them, make sure they're integrated well. We have the team barbecue like we do every year. So there's a lot of like random stuff that just pops up that sometimes you just have to deal with and forget about. Like we're doing academic checks with all the guys, making sure everyone's all set that way. And then in the spring and summer, it's a lot of recruiting. Weekends are more busy during the week sometimes because that's when we're on the road, going to all these different events, trying to identify the next group of guys that help us win some more games.
Yeah, and I think going on to your point, I think most people, when they think of the role of a Division three assistant, they're thinking of game prep, recruiting, obviously. But what do you think are some things people misunderstand about being a D3 assistant that maybe some people just don't know that that's part of the job?
Yeah, it's like I said, since it's such a small staff, you kind of do a bit of everything. So it's
Right,
like you're even there just for catch up because most of the time, like the assistants usually live closer to campus than the head coaches do.
right,
So I'm around if like you guys need to get somewhere, something happens, or like practice, like someone gets hurt, they need to go get stitches. I'm probably driving them to the hospital and just hanging out with them, making sure all that stuff. So just being around just as an extra set of hands, like people don't understand. Like sometimes that just like is what you got to do. Like something comes up, let's take care of it. And then the other aspect of it is just, I think, is just the academic side. We don't have at RPI. We're lucky enough. We have a full-time academic athletic advisor who works with our guys, but also we are like they lean on to us for a lot of things, academics,
right.
social stuff. Being able to check in with them, the freshmen, the players, even the older guys. Sometimes they need some help with some stuff. Connecting them with alumni is a big thing we do as well. I know we had our alumni weekend this past weekend, which was great because our current guys are trying to get internships and jobs, and there's a lot of former men's basketball players who love the men's basketball program, who know a lot of people. So just being that aspect for a lot of guys on our team to understand, like let's do a great job on the court, let's do a great job off the court, and let's help set you up for life after. And I think being able to do all of that while also understanding, hey, this is what we have to do to beat this team today. It all kind of comes together, and you get it done. Like when someone asks me what I do in the day, it depends what day and what happens
Yeah,
during that day. And I just think a lot of people just misunderstand that. Like when people are like, "What do you do all day?" When I tell them I'm a college basketball coach, like, you go to practice. Yeah, I go to practice, but I also have to go to the office at 9 a.m. every day, check in, answer emails, make sure if we're doing meals on the road, make sure that's all set. If we're doing something else where we're doing a team activity, make sure that's all set, and just all the organizational stuff. If we have reps or we have a live stream, like I'm responsible for booking the person who does our play-by-play and make sure we
right.
have the right people doing all that stuff. So it's just a lot of different. My hands are in a lot of different baskets, and just making sure the whole thing runs smoothly. Because Coach Gilbride always says it like there's RPI as an organization, but there's RPI men's basketball that in itself is its own little business, and it's like a mom and pop business. Me and Coach Gilbride are running that business to keep it open. There's a lot of things during like business stay open because someone's got to open it, someone's got to clean, someone's got to sweep, someone's got to be ready if someone enters the room. They have a quick question, you've got to be there. So if you think of it that way, that's what a lot of my job is too. Just being able to help continue the business to run. And it's not just the product on the court, it's just RPI men's basketball brand and making sure the guys we bring in are succeeding in the life of life, like basketball,
Yeah,
academics, socially, all that stuff. That's part of my job. Is just like because a lot of people don't have their parents close. Like I know you guys came in with Ben and Avery, who
hmm
from San Antonio.
You and Charlie's from Cali.
Charlie's from Cali. We got Sully, who's from Austin. We got Payne
Yeah,
on the team this year from South Carolina, and
yeah,
a lot of guys who
right.
are from like Massachusetts area, where it's 3 hours.
hmm
It's not
It's
12,
doable.
but it's 3. So if like something quick comes up, you're kind of the pseudo parent sometimes, where they need
yeah.
some help with something. And like we have a guy on our team, Abubakar, where his parents don't live in the country. He has
Hmm.
his older
Right.
sister and his uncle live in New York City, but his main group of his family lives in Africa. So like being able to help him adjust, because I remember one time he had an insurance thing, I had to help him with that. So it's a lot of that stuff as well. where it's like people don't think that's a part of my job, but my job is to help the players, and that's just help the players in general. It's not just basketball.
Yeah.
There's been just to attest to your point about having your hand in so many different baskets. How many times have we had like a snowstorm and you were the one driving
Oh
such
yeah,
and such player and picking
yeah,
them up? It's like you wouldn't think that as an assistant coach, but hey, someone's got to do it. It's a 3-man. It was you, me, and Coach Gilbride. So it's like someone's got to do it.
yeah. And
If
I remember that one time, like Chuck, you might have texted me, it might have been Dylan, and it was like, "Hey, coach, is your car out of all the snow? Is it clean? Can you come pick me up?" And like we ended up having like 6 guys in the car. And we just went to practice.
get to practice.
I remember that. I remember that.
So it's just little things like that, and that stuff I love because we're talking about it now, we're laughing about it. Like it's not happening if I'm one of 12 where I can be like, Chuck, remember when we had like 7 guys in the car when it was a snowstorm? We pulled up to practice, and we just made sure everyone got there. Like that was a part of it.
Yeah.
And it's also like with coaching, it's not like your regular, hey, you're in the real world or like, a corporate America where it's 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Coaching is pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Right? Because even on Sundays and during the season, like today, we're just doing some recruiting. It's like, yeah, it's a 7-day-a-week job. So it's like, some people think, oh, you're just coaching basketball and you're playing games, but it's like, all right, it's 7 days a week. It's not.
And smartphones haven't made it any easier because technically, if someone texts me, call me, emails me, I can
that's
respond
exactly
right.
right.
Then and there. So technically, if a recruit texts me and I have my phone on me, I'm gonna respond, and I'm technically working at that point. It's what I love. Like I got to go recruiting today, like you said, Steve, and I was at this prep school event, and I got to see a bunch of other coaching friends that I had, which is another big part of this for me. Like I'm a big relationships guy, so like players, but also like I've gotten really good friends with some other assistant coaches in the area that I never would have met if it wasn't for this. Some of my closest friends are other coaches.
Right.
So it's just all of it. I think people misunderstand how much actually goes into all of it. People just see the product when we blow the whistle and it's tip off. They see the product, but they don't know what you guys do all week to practice. They don't know what we do all week to make sure we're all set to go in terms of buses and all that stuff. They don't know what you guys do in the training room. You might have a nagging injury. They just see the game starts and they're like, Chuck missed a shot. What's happened? Like,
yeah, right.
They don't see all the background stuff, and we're all false to that. When we watch the NFL, the NBA, we're like, why is LeBron not playing well? He's dealing with some stuff. He's got a foot thing. He had a bad week of practice, whatever it is.
Right.
And I think that sometimes gets lost in all of it for people.
Well, let's move on to, obviously you just came from a recruiting trip today, and just this podcast with me and Steve starting this is really to help the youth learn more about college basketball in general. And I think it doesn't get much better than hearing from a college basketball coach. So when you go on these trips, whether it's a NEPSAC showcase, whether it's to these AAU events, maybe name like a few things skill-wise that you're looking for in a player that you're trying to bring into RPI.
Yeah. So there's a few things for us, like as an assistant coach, you have your own like idea of what you like as a player, but also the head coach has a mold of what works for him as well. I'm not saying we don't recruit all types of players, but there's a certain kind of guy within what we do that has a better chance of succeeding, if that makes sense. So being able to understand that's huge as well as an assistant coach. But I just think skill-wise, just the overall ability to do multiple things, the versatility offensively, defensively is huge, because if you're just a point guard that can only dribble and pound and play out of ball screens, that's very limiting, because in college, you're not just going to have the ball in your hands the whole time. And if you're only a shooter that can only catch and shoot threes and not ever really cut and can't really guard on the other end, you pigeonhole yourself into what you can be at the next level. So being versatile, because that's huge. Because early on in a career for a college player, the best way to get on the court is to being able to help the upperclassmen be good. Because the upperclassmen are usually the best players on the team. Sometimes it's not, but usually they are. And the young guys that play, I think, at least for us early on, and we think is like, they're great. They're going to be great. But how do they help Chuck be the best version of Chuck? Because Chuck's going to play 35 minutes.
Mhm.
That's a part of it as well. So being versatile allows you to do multiple things where it's like, hey, Chuck is our ball handler. You might be a point guard, but can you play off the ball and be great defensively, make shots when Chuck throws you the ball, and be able to cut and be able to take over the ball handling when Chuck comes out the game? So doing that's huge. I also think the ability to finish with ease, it sounds simple, but it's not. Like if you have the ball in a fast break and someone throws you a great pass or you have the ball, can you just put the ball in the hoop and focus and not worry about people around you? That's a lot of things that people get caught up in. Like the 6'7" guy steps over and he's late, but you're worried about it, so you rush the shot. Just being able confident to put it in the hoop and being determined to think about that, because that's something that translates. Like block shots are a part of the game, but how often does your shot get blocked in a game? Once every 2 games. So the fear of it, I think, is worse than the actual results of someone blocking your shot. Because sometimes you take a quick one or you rush it because you're worried about what's going to happen. And then I think the ability to also play off 2 feet. I know it's been a huge thing since Villanova had that run with Jay Wright. It's very rare in the game of basketball where you're going to just be able to rip downhill and take off of 1 foot and make a good play. If you're a great athlete, no one steps over, you might just be able to lay it in. But if you jump off 1 foot and then look to pass, you put yourself in a terrible spot. And I think just being able to play off 2 feet also just means you're balanced most of the time. So if you're driving, you're able to come to a stop with 2 feet. You're very rarely going to turn it over because that means you have great breaks and you can slow down and see everything. And I just think with that, Chuck, you played off 2 feet really well. It also just sometimes allows you to get to the next thing. Like you drive really hard, someone cuts you off. If you get to 2 feet, the play's not over. You can just throw it to the next guy and get the next thing. If you play off 1 foot, you're kind of stuck into shooting it or throwing a real cross-court pass. It's going to happen in the game of basketball where someone cuts you off when you try to drive. No one's 100 for 100. No one's going 100%. So you can be able to stop and get to the next thing and continue the flow of the offense is a huge thing because if you're turning the ball over all the time, it's hard to play, right? So I think those 3 things, for us and for me, is huge because I think everyone nowadays is becoming good shooters. It's just been like nature. Everyone's working on their 3-point shot. So being an elite shooter is always a plus, but being able to knock down open shots, I think, is becoming a pretty consistent thing amongst high school players. And I think the other things I mentioned are kind of getting the lost art because of that. Just like being able to do multiple things in general, being able to focus and finish at the rim when there's bodies around you, I think is a big thing. Like tough, strong buckets, like not tough buckets like the kids say nowadays where it's a tween cross Euro. It's a tough bucket where like you get an offensive rebound and there's people around you, but you should be able to finish. Can you make those? Because there's offensive rebound finishes are huge, and being able to finish around people around you and be strong enough to put it in is a skill. And I don't think people really understand that. And then the last thing, just being able to play off 2 feet. Being able to come to a stop, being able to play under control and on balance is huge at all levels. Because if you're not, it leads to turnovers, and turnovers leads to points for the other team. And at the end of the day, you want to score more points than the other people, so you don't want to give them any.
Exactly. No, that's a great point you bring, especially the getting to 2 feet. Obviously, probably coming to college as a freshman, I was probably playing off 1 foot a lot. But as I got older, I learned how much playing off with 2 feet is so important, especially from the point guard perspective. And that's something that the younger players I work with now, it's like kind of like you just said. If you go off 1 foot, it's really 2 options. You know what I'm saying? You're either gonna shoot it, and it may be a tough shot over a taller player. But if you don't really have that, it's like you're making a tough pass that has a very low percentage of probably getting there just in the grand scheme of things. But if you go over 2 feet, there's so many options. You can, get to 2 feet, pump fake, pivot, get through that, or you can pass it, get it back. So I think a lot of players really need to focus on that kind of stuff as well because, like you said, it's overlooked, but it will take your game to the next level. It just turns out being like a mature basketball player. So that's huge that you brought that up. And see if you could intertwine here any question. But the next one I have in terms of recruiting, obviously we heard about the skill stuff. What are some like especially at RPI, it was like a culture there. You know what I'm saying? Especially when me and Steve got in, it was like a family culture. Everyone wanted everyone else to win. We took practice super seriously. We took scout seriously. We brought it on the defensive end at all times. What are some things? What are some traits like off the court that you're looking in players that you think may translate to the RPI culture?
Yeah, I just think one of the things is just winners, like guys who win and want to win. Like there's a difference. Like you can tell who wants to win or who's just playing to win. There's a little bit of difference. You watch a game, there's a kid that's like diving on loose ball. He's making the one more pass, and he's really like. And then when he gets subbed out, he's like not bowing his head. He's like getting a quick drink of water, and then he's the guy celebrating on the bench because he wants to win, and he knows his teammates can help him do that. So the guys who are winners are huge, and it's just like hard to describe. For each person, under what a winner to them is different, and it's just like I said, recruiting wise in terms of skill, everyone has their own opinions of what they want. And the same thing for winners. Like there's different intangibles that people look for in certain spots, certain positions, certain players. And then with that kind of ties in just a guy who's happy for his teammates' success. Not a guy who subs out of the game and sits at the end of the bench and kicks a bag because coach subbed me out or I'm shooting bad. The guys who can get subbed out and maybe made a bad play because they got subbed out or they missed a shot, they're not having a great shooting day, but still be engaged on the bench and engaged defensively overall, are guys that are just going to help RPI basketball be RPI basketball. Like Chuck, Steve, we know there are sometimes we have droughts of scoring, and the bench is still
Absolutely.
involved though because we're getting stops, and the guys are on the floor, they're missing shots, but they're still determined to get stops. So just the ever willing perseverance, I think that's the best way to put it, of just the team, the perseverance of the team to succeed. Um, because last night we were down five with a minute left, and I don't think there was a lack of belief of the five guys on the floor and the 12 guys on the bench. Um, and I just think the last part of it is like we recruit good guys. Like we have them up to visits. They hang out with you guys. You guys can really tell if they vibe with you guys or not. And then when we're recruiting them, we're talking to them on the phone. How easy are they to talk to? That's another part of it. Because I call recruits each year, and like when I'm talking to them on the phone, does it feel like I'm pulling teeth to get some answers, to try to get some information about them? It's not like I'm getting information about them that's like personal. I'm just like, hey, how was your weekend? How was this? Who's your favorite football team? Just be able to connect on a personal level with the recruits, so when they come in, they already feel like there's a part of the family. And I think that's something that the players that you have on your team help cultivate. Like Chuck, you guys said it when you guys came in. There was that culture, and we continued it because you guys continued the culture. And the young guys who get in, they learn how to be a part of it. And but it all stems from like we're not bringing in guys who are just not like great guys. Like they're just not very personable, and they're not willing to understand like, hey, we're gonna lock in right now for practice. We're gonna lock in for scout. We're gonna do all this, but as soon as we're done, we're gonna go over to hang out. We're gonna talk trash, play FIFA, play Madden, and we're gonna be normal college kids. Because I think that's
Yeah.
another part of D3 that is great. Like you guys are normal college kids, but you just get to play a high level sport while you do it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because
Absolutely right.
you guys are hanging out all the time, and I know you guys are watching college basketball, college football. You guys are playing Madden. You guys are talking trash. Like
Mhm.
you guys are normal kids. You just get to play a great sport while you're at school at a great institution. Um, so I think that's all part of it. The culture of the program extends outside of what we do on the floor. It extends to you guys hanging out without the coaches around. Because I think the culture it starts with what the head coach preaches and the coaching staff preaches, but it only comes into effect once you guys just do it as a group. Like
Mhm.
we can keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it, and keep preaching it. But at some point, you guys just go tone deaf, and you're like, oh, "Coach is saying this again." But then eventually, once you guys start to do it, it's like everyone's doing it, and you're the odd one out. You can feel like you're the odd one out, not doing it, and you don't want to be that guy. So I think that's the part of it when you have the majority of the team bought in to being whatever we're doing, and understand like, hey, this is a group, and we're all doing it together. You're either in or you're out. I think that's a great thing that the players have cultivated here at RPI, and it's part of my job and part of Coach Gilbride's job to hopefully add more guys to that culture. Where Chuck, when you come back and watch a game and there's some freshmen you don't know, I introduce you and you guys are laughing in within 2 minutes of talking to each other. I think that's a part of it as a whole. Because I know, Chuck, I came in for 2 years. It was right after you guys had that great run to the Sweet 16. And, like, you and Johnny, I was the new guy on block. And you guys brought me in right away. I got to know the guys on that 21-22 team that I never coached. But, like, I see them now, and it's like, they're like, "What's up, coach? How you doing?" I'm like, "I never coached you. This is awesome." So it's a part of that too. And so like I'm a culprit of understanding what the culture is as well, because I jumped into it in August. I got hired in August, and I called you on the phone at 9:30 at night while you're getting shots up. I called Johnny. I called Ben and Abe when they were at work together. It was hilarious when I called them the first time. But I got to feel it right away when I never even met you in person and we talked on the phone. I was like, these guys want me to be here. They're happy I'm here. So let's do it. And then I think it's just a testament to the guys that's been in the program that's just stayed along, because we just keep feeding it with great people, great basketball players, and great guys who just want to be a part of a special group.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say something, Chuck. I just think, going to Coach Sweeney's point about, getting buy-in from players and whatnot, the biggest testament of that is our senior captains every year. When those guys are speaking before a game, for example, Chuck and Avery last year, and then we had Johnny and Ben the previous year, when those guys are talking about what the coaching staff is talking about, it's like, okay, it's not coming from the coaches where you're like, oh, he's saying this again. It's like, your best friends are saying this. So it's like, you don't want to let them down. You don't want to let the guy next to you down. And I think that goes a long way.
That's true. That's a great point, actually. Before I pass off to Steve, kind of end it off, just in terms of the recruiting thing, again, obviously, I think an underlooked aspect of it is how important the players' families are. Obviously, you guys are talking to the parents, in general, seeing them at the game and stuff like that. And there have been instances where I've heard coaches say, like, they might have stopped recruiting a player because their parents are yelling at their high school coach of taking them out the game and stuff like that. So when you go on these recruiting trails, how often are you looking at the family as well as the player?
Yeah, so it always starts with the initial part is the player. Do I think he's good? Do I think he fits? Does he fit academically? 1, 2, 3. Academics. Do I think he's good? Is there any interest there, or do I think he'll fit in what we do? 1, 2, 3. And then you get to the second layer of things of like getting to know their family, talk to their high school coach, all that stuff, get to know them as people. And you can kind of get some like light bulbs and some red flags in the background when you're talking to a family. You sit with the family or you talk to the family after the game and they lost, and they're like immediately start like, oh, why'd coach do that? Shouldn't have done this. And it's like, and they're like, hey coach, what would you have done here? Because I don't think we should have done that. And I'm like, I don't coach the team. I'm not at practice. I'm not talking on it. I'm here to watch your son play because I'm excited about him potentially becoming an RPI engineer. So that's a part of it. It's just like, I'm not saying parents or people around them do it maliciously. It's just like, if you're going to talk bad or question what your AAU coach does as a parent, or question what the high school coach does, what happens at game 1 as of his freshman year and he doesn't get any playing time and we lose by 2 on the road? Are you going to question me? Are you going to question Coach Gilbride? Are you going to question our decisions? And then you're feeding it to your son, who might not be thinking that at all. He might be like, oh, we lost close one. We had a good week of practice, all this stuff. And now you're saying it to them, and they're like, oh, maybe, because they're their parents, like, right? So I think that's a big part of it. And I just think the people involved in kids recruitment sometimes is too much. Like, the barriers to entry to get in contact with a kid. Like, you got to go through the AU coach, then you got to go through the high school coach, and then there's someone else you got to talk to, and then you get in touch with the kid. Sometimes it's reverse. Sometimes I talk to the kid, they really like it, and then retroactively all those people call me, which is great. Like, I'm more than happy to speak to them. But I just think sometimes, like, shutting off a school because it's not what you think the kid is. Like, you think the kid's a scholarship player. And RPI, we're a D3 school, so we're not a scholarship level. I reach out. I like him as a player. I talk to you as his AU coach, and you don't pass along my information, or you don't tell him, hey, you should look into it because you think he's a level. It just shortens your options as well. I think like those people mean well as well, but just sometimes like playing college basketball in general is hard to do. It's hard to get a spot. It's hard to play on the floor, especially nowadays. People are getting older. There's transport, there's junior college, all that stuff, and junior college is hard to get to as well. It's like if a coach is interested in you and you don't have something better or something that you're willing to take first, talk to them. What's the worst thing that happens? You have a conversation with the coach. They get to know you. They tell you about their program, and you can think about it. You can be like, hey, coach, I don't really think this school's for me. I'm really looking for this. Or, coach, I really appreciate you reaching out. Let's stay in touch. But this throughout the summer, but I really want to get to this level, but I'm definitely interested. We'll stay in touch. I think that's a big part of the process. Closing off, like one of the things with recruits, I think hurts them sometimes when you close off options too early. Like if I text you in June, doesn't mean like you have to commit to us in June. I'm just reaching out in June to tell you I like you as a player. And if you end up getting a scholarship in August, you get a scholarship in August. So I think just being very communicative with all the coaches that reach out, because these are people who are taking their time to watch you and they like you as a player, and that means they see what you can do as a player. And that as a player, if you think about it that way, you're like, oh wow, this coach really sees something in me where I put in all this work and he thinks I can help him win. Because if you think about it that way, we're recruiting players to help us win basketball. And if you think about that, you're like, oh, wow, this coach who went to the Sweet 16 2 years ago or has been a really good program or they're in a great league, all this stuff, thinks I can help him win games. That's an extreme compliment. And I think if you're starting to think about it that way, it's just a thing that you can't pass up on, just having a conversation with a coach that is interested in you. And that conversation might end right then and there. You might never speak to him again because you might get something else or something else happens. But if someone's offering to get on the phone with you at a level where you want to get to, which I think kids who play at AU want to play college basketball, you got to have a conversation with them because they took the time out of their weekend to come watch you play, and they're like, "This kid's pretty good. I think he could help us win." Is a huge part of it. And the worst thing that happens is you have a conversation with the coach and you learn something from it that might help you your next weekend. Like, hey, Chuck, I watched you play this weekend. Played did great. And you can ask me a quick question on the phone. Like, I give you a rundown on us, and I talk about the weekend. You're like, hey, coach, what you saw this weekend? What do you think? What do you think I could have done better? And that's just a simple question. I'll give you an honest answer. And then you play in the next weekend. And I said, hey, Chuck, I think you need to take care of the ball better. Like, limit the turnovers a little bit, a little careless. And I come watch your game, and you have 0 turnovers. Pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah,
so I think all of the aspects to it, like the parents being involved, I think the parents in general and any coaches that are present, you just have to be super supportive of all of it. If you disagree with a coach's decision or you disagree with an AU coach's decision, don't say it to a college coach. It's not a great look. Just be super supportive throughout it all because there's a bunch of people out here trying to help your son get to where he wants to go or daughter where they want to go. So I think if you're just standing in front of that and being the obstacle, that's not your intention, I hope, and that's definitely not what you want to
do.
Yeah. I think that, some people, especially parents or people on the outside looking in, think in terms of recruiting that coaches, they want 1 or 2 or 3 good players in the rest of the class. They just want to get the numbers filled out. But I know from talking to you guys every day the past 2 years, every freshman that comes in, you guys believe can help you win to a certain degree. Right? I think a lot of people have the misconception that it's only 2 or 3 kids in the class and the other 2 or 3 kids might be fill-ins or like they just want to make sure they have roster spots filled. And that's not the case. So I think definitely going to the point of, everyone, if the coach is recruiting you, they believe you could win and you shouldn't help them win and you shouldn't take that for granted for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then, just kind of wrapping it up here for you, Coach. What are your kind of long-term coaching goals? The second question being also, do you see yourself eventually being a head coach one day? And then the last part of it, I'd say, just for me personally, what do you want to be known for as a coach? Not really X's and O's, but what are your players, what are they leaving with after your, hopefully 4 years if they stay with you as their head coach? So maybe you could go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so long-term goals, you kind of touched on it. I want to be a head coach.
Yep.
I love being an assistant coach. It's great. I love the guy I work for. But ultimately, I got into this because I want to be able to hopefully run a program and have my impact and what I want to do in terms of culture wise, in terms of X's and O's, and hopefully have something I can call my own. So that's where I think in long term, I mean, who knows how long that will take if I'm ever lucky enough to do it, because I know head coaching spots, there's only a few of them. They're hard to get. And then I just think, in general, something I would love to be known for throughout all my coaching, whether it's as a head coach, assistant coach, all the time, every kid I've coached from my first day at Rutgers there to hopefully the day I'm 75 or 70 and I retire. The one thing I want to be known for is, hey, this guy really cared about me. If you're like, because I care about every single guy I coach. I love them. I want to get to know them because for me, that time period from when I was 23 at Rutgers to hopefully when I retire, when I'm 70, 65, 70 around there, I have, 50 plus years worth of people who are like, hey,
that's a lot. It adds up.
Hey, that guy, hey, you're introducing your kids. Hey, that's my coach right there. That's my guy. And so, being able to have a retirement program, I got 50 years worth of people who were like, that guy helped me in more than he knows. And it might not have been basketball. It might have just been like, hey, this guy really helped me just understand how to get better as a man or understand, like, this is what I got to do academically. He really helped me through this moment in my life. Or just something in general where, like, throughout my time as a coach, even if you're my player for 4 years or if you're my player for after you graduate, you can call me whenever, and I'll be able to help if I can. I think that's the biggest part of it for me. I think that's when everyone asks me the question of, like, why'd you get into this? It's that point when I'm 65 or 70 and I retire and we have a retirement party and we're going to have a bunch of steaks and beers and good wine and all this stuff. I'm going to have 50 plus years worth of players that potentially come back and celebrate that. Because that just showcases me. I've left an impact on people, which is what I want to do. It's not like I don't care that if the Maguire Sweeney name's in the Basketball Hall of Fame or the Maguire Sweeney name's lit up in Times Square. I don't care about that. You know I don't care about that. I care about, like, hey, Chuck needed some help on this. He needed me to jump on his podcast to help him early on and all this stuff. Or like Steve, he's going out to get dinner in Hoboken, seeing some of the guys. He wants a dinner spot, so he calls me. It's like stuff like that. Just being involved with you guys so I can see you guys grow as men is huge because I want to feel like I've helped people become who they want to become. That's just the end all be all for it for me. And the basketball side of it is great because I love basketball and I love competing. So if I can help young men grow to what they want to become and be a part of their lives any way I can, and then also win basketball games as I do it, that's the win-win of life to me.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job so far. Like I kind of said earlier, give your flowers a little bit, but obviously only 2 years at RPI, but you brought it every single day. I think everyone on the team saw that. Obviously, Coach Gilbride said that at one of our senior nights that you were like the smartest coach in the Liberty, assistant coach in the Liberty League, and it shows. You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing a great job so far. So obviously, I'm giving you your flowers, and for me to even ask you to kind of get on this podcast is just a testament of our relationship so far. Obviously, us three were on the sideline, going through it with Coach that senior year. So. Yeah, man, we appreciate you for kind of coming on, chopping it up. We got through a lot. And you give a lot of gems, a lot of stuff that I think a lot of our followers and our supporters as younger players are going to hopefully can take in and kind of use that to kind of when their outlook comes on to college basketball. So we appreciate you, Coach, for stopping by on the podcast real quick.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. This is always fun.
Yeah,
we recorded this. It's for a podcast. We could be sitting here at the table talking about all this stuff. We talk about this.
Absolutely.
We could talk about how Seton Hall is better than St. John's this year, Steve. We're going to talk about that.
Maybe right now.
But I always appreciate you guys having me on. You guys, this is great. I've kept up with you guys early on. This is going to be awesome. I think what you guys are doing, shining a light on college basketball, helping out all these people is going to be great. And I think you two are the two best people for it, too. You guys have the right head on your shoulders to get this thing going.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, obviously, you have to do this as well. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast with Coach Sweeney. Leave a comment in the section and what you guys want to see next. And yeah, we're out.